He walked into the small restaurant with nothing but hunger in his eyes and holes in his shoes. She was just a poor waitress trying to survive another day. But what she did for him that night cost her everything. Or so she thought. Because days later he returned. And what he brought with him shocked everyone in that restaurant. How did one act of kindness change two broken lives forever? Sit back and find out as we unfold this touching story. Once upon a time in the busy streets of Lagos, there was a small restaurant called Mama's Kitchen. It stood on a quiet corner, away from the big hotels and fancy eateries. The paint on the walls was old and fading. The chairs were wooden and cracked. But the food was warm and the people who worked there had hearts even warmer. Inside this restaurant worked a young woman named Sophia. She was 26 years old, thin from skipping meals and always tired. Her uniform was washed so many times that the blue color had turned pale. But Sophia never complained. Every morning, she woke up before the sun and walked 2 hours to reach the restaurant because she could not afford transport. Sophia was an orphan. She lost her parents when she was only 15. A car accident took them both on the same night. Since then, she had been living alone in a one-room apartment that leaked when it rained. The walls were cracked, and the ceiling had brown stains from water damage. But it was all she could afford. Her salary was small. Very small. At the end of each month, after paying rent and buying a little food, she had almost nothing left. Sometimes she went to bed hungry, whispering to herself in the dark, "God, I know you have not forgotten me, please, just help me survive one more day." And somehow, she always did. Sophia worked as a waitress under the watch of a man named Mr. Jacob. He was the head chef and manager of Mama's Kitchen. Mr. Jacob was a short, round man with a thick mustache and eyes that never smiled. He walked around the restaurant like a soldier inspecting his troops. His voice was loud and sharp. "Sophia, why is table 5 still dirty? Sophia, serve that customer faster. Sophia, stop wasting time." She would bow her head and say softly, "Yes, sir." "Sorry, sir." Mr. Jacob did not care that Sophia worked harder than anyone else. He did not care that she stayed late to clean without extra pay. He did not care that she never took breaks. To him, she was just another worker. And workers were easy to replace. But Sophia did not work only because of the money. She worked because she believed in kindness. Her mother had once told her when she was just a little girl, "My daughter, no matter how poor you become, never forget to be kind. Kindness is the only thing no one can steal from you." Those words lived in Sophia's heart like a flame that never went out. One evening, it was almost closing time. The restaurant was quiet. Most of the customers had already left. Only 2 tables were still occupied. Sophia was wiping down the counter when she heard the door creak open. She turned and saw a man standing at the entrance. He was tall but bent over like he was carrying a heavy load. His clothes were torn and dirty. His hair was rough and uncombed. His feet were bare, covered in dust and cuts. He looked like he had not eaten in days. The man stood there, staring at the floor. His hands trembled. Sophia's heart squeezed. She had seen poor people before. Lagos was full of them. But something about this man's face made her pause. His eyes were not angry or bitter. They were just tired. So tired. Slowly, the man took one step inside. Then another. He looked up at Sophia and opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out at first. Finally, in a voice so soft and broken, he said, "Please, I am very hungry. Can you give me just a small piece of bread? Anything. I have not eaten in 2 days." Sophia froze. Her hand gripped the towel she was holding. She looked at the man, then toward the kitchen where Mr. Jacob was. From the corner of her eye, she saw Mr. Jacob step out. He had heard the man's voice. His face twisted with anger. "Hey, you!" Mr. Jacob shouted, pointing at the homeless man. "Get out of here. This is not a charity house. If you have no money, you have no business here." The man flinched. He stepped back slightly, his head lowering even more. "Please, sir," the man whispered. "I am not asking for much. Just a small. I said, get out. Mr. Jacob's voice boomed across the restaurant. The two remaining customers turned their heads to look. Sophia's chest tightened. She watched as the man's shoulders dropped. He turned slowly and began to walk toward the door. But before he could leave, Sophia called out, "Wait." Everyone turned to look at her. Mr. Jacob's eyes narrowed. "Sir," Sophia said carefully, her voice low but steady. "We have some leftover food. The rice and stew from today. We were going to throw it away. Can I give him just a small portion?" Mr. Jacob's face turned red. He walked closer to Sophia, his finger pointed at her face. "You want to give him food?" he asked sharply. "With whose permission?" "That food belongs to this restaurant. Even leftovers are counted in the inventory. If you give it away without my approval, that is stealing." Sophia's hands began to shake. But she did not back down. "Sir, it will be wasted anyway. It is almost midnight. No one else will buy it." Mr. Jacob stared at her for a long moment. Then he shook his head and said coldly, "I don't care. My rules are my rules. Now stop wasting my time and get back to work." He turned to the homeless man and shouted again, "You! Out, now!" The man did not say another word. He just nodded slowly and walked out of the door. The sound of the door closing echoed in the silence. Sophia stood there, staring at the floor. Her heart was beating fast. Tears filled her eyes, but she blinked them away quickly. She whispered to herself, "Why is the world so cruel?" An hour later, the restaurant finally closed. The last customers had left. The lights were dim. Mr. Jacob locked the cash register and told Sophia, "Clean the tables and lock up when you are done." Then he walked out the back door, leaving her alone. Sophia moved slowly, wiping the tables one by one. Her mind was still on the homeless man. She kept seeing his face, his tired eyes, his trembling hands. She walked into the kitchen and saw the large pot of leftover rice and stew sitting on the counter. It would be thrown away in the morning. She knew that. Sophia looked around. No one was there. The kitchen was silent except for the hum of the old fridge in the corner. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind, "Never forget to be kind." Sophia took a deep breath. Then she reached for a plastic takeaway pack. She opened it and began to scoop rice into it. Then she added stew, a piece of chicken, and some vegetables. She packed it carefully, sealed it, and wrapped it in a black polythene bag. Her hands were shaking. She knew what she was doing could cost her the job, but she could not stop herself. She whispered, "God, forgive me if this is wrong, but I cannot let him starve." Sophia locked the restaurant door and stepped outside into the cold night. The street was dark and quiet. A few streetlights flickered weakly. She looked left and right, searching. Then she saw him. The homeless man was sitting on the pavement, leaning against a wall. His head was resting on his knees. He looked like he had given up. Sophia walked toward him quietly. Her footsteps were soft. "Excuse me," she said gently. The man lifted his head. When he saw her, his eyes widened in surprise. Sophia stretched out the black bag toward him. "I brought you food. It is still warm. Please take it." The man stared at the bag, then at her. His lips trembled. Why are you doing this?" he asked in a broken voice. "You don't even know me." Sophia smiled softly. "Because you are hungry. And I believe no one should sleep with an empty stomach." The man took the bag with shaking hands. He opened it slowly. When he saw the rice, the chicken, and the stew, tears rolled down his cheeks. He looked up at Sophia. "Thank you," he whispered. "God bless you. You have no idea what this means to me." Sophia nodded. "Eat well, and take care of yourself." Then she turned and walked away into the night, her heart lighter than it had been in months. What Sophia did not know was that someone had been watching. The next morning, Sophia returned to the restaurant. She greeted the security man at the gate and walked inside with her usual smile. But the moment she stepped through the door, Mr. Jacob was standing there, arms crossed, his face dark with anger. "Sophia," he said coldly. "Come here." Her heart sank. She walked toward him slowly. "Yes, sir." Mr. Jacob did not waste time. He pulled out his phone and turned the screen toward her. On it was a video. A security camera video. It showed Sophia in the kitchen last night, packing food into a takeaway pack. Sophia's breath caught in her throat. "You stole from me," Mr. Jacob said, his voice low and dangerous. "You took food that belongs to this restaurant and gave it away without permission. That is theft, Sophia, theft." "Sir, please," Sophia said quickly, her voice shaking. "It was leftover food. It was going to be thrown away. I just wanted to help someone who was starving." Mr. Jacob's eyes were cold. "I don't care about your reasons. You broke the rules. And in this restaurant there are consequences." He stepped closer to her. "You are fired. Collect your things and leave. Now." Sophia felt the world spin around her. Her knees went weak. "Sir, please," she begged, her voice breaking. "This job is all I have. I have nowhere else to go. Please, sir, give me one more chance." But Mr. Jacob did not even blink. "I said leave, or I will call security to throw you out." Tears poured down Sophia's face. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. She just stood there, shaking. Finally, she nodded. She wiped her face with the back of her hand, walked to the small locker room, and took out her bag. She did not look at anyone. She did not say goodbye. She just walked out of the restaurant, her head down, her heart shattered. Outside, the sun was bright and the street was busy. But Sophia felt like she was walking through darkness. She whispered to herself, "What have I done? What will I do now?" That night, Sophia sat alone in her small room. The walls felt like they were closing in on her. She had no money, no food, no job, and rent was due in 1 week. She lay on her thin mattress and stared at the ceiling. Tears rolled down the sides of her face. "God," she whispered, "I only tried to do the right thing. Why am I being punished?" She closed her eyes and cried herself to sleep. Days passed. Sophia searched for work everywhere. She went from one restaurant to another, one shop to another. But no one was hiring. And the little money she had saved was running out fast. By the 4th day, she had only one meal left. A small pack of gari and sugar. She sat on her bed that evening, mixing the gari in a bowl with water. Her hands moved slowly, like they had no strength left. As she ate in silence, she thought about the homeless man. She wondered if he was still alive. She wondered if that one meal had helped him. "At least I did something good," she whispered to herself. "Even if it cost me everything." On the 5th day, Sophia received a knock on her door. She opened it slowly, wiping her tired eyes. Standing there was her landlord, a tall man with a stern face named Mr. Daniel. "Good afternoon, sir," Sophia greeted weakly. Mr. Daniel did not smile. "Sophia, your rent is due in 2 days. I came to remind you. If you cannot pay, you will have to leave." Sophia's heart sank. "Sir, please. I lost my job. I am looking for work. Just give me a little more time." Mr. Daniel shook his head. "I have given you time before. I cannot keep doing this. 2 days, Sophia. That is all." He turned and walked away, leaving Sophia standing in the doorway, her body trembling. She closed the door slowly and sank to the floor. She buried her face in her hands and sobbed. "God, where are you?" She whispered. "I have nothing left." That same evening, Sophia was walking down the street near Mama's kitchen. She did not plan to go there, but her feet carried her in that direction anyway. As she walked past the restaurant, she stopped. Her eyes went to the window. Inside, she could see the tables, the customers, the workers moving around. Her chest ached. Then she heard a voice behind her. "Excuse me. Are you Sophia?" She turned quickly. Standing behind her were two men in black suits. They looked serious, professional. One of them was holding a briefcase. Sophia's heart began to race. Yes, I am Sophia. Who are you? The man smiled slightly. We have been looking for you. Please come with us. Why? Sophia asked, stepping back. What do you want from me? Someone wants to see you, the second man said calmly. It is very important, please. Just come. Sophia hesitated, but something in their faces told her they were not there to harm her. Where are we going? She asked softly. You will see, the first man replied. They led her to a black car parked at the corner. One of the men opened the door for her. Sophia looked at the car, then at the men, then back at the car. She whispered a quick prayer, then got inside. The car drove through the busy streets of Lagos. Sophia sat quietly in the back seat, her hands folded on her lap. Her mind was racing with questions. After 20 minutes, the car stopped in front of a tall glass building. Sophia looked up. The building was shining in the afternoon sun. A large sign at the top read, Gabriel and Sons Bakery Empire. Her eyes widened. The men stepped out and opened her door. Please come with us. Sophia followed them inside. The lobby was beautiful. Marble floors. Golden lights. Everything looked expensive. They entered an elevator and went up to the 10th floor. When the doors opened, Sophia stepped into a long hallway with glass walls. At the end of the hallway was a large office. The man knocked on the door. Come in, a voice said from inside. The door opened, and Sophia froze. Sitting behind a wide desk, dressed in a clean white shirt and black trousers, was the homeless man. The same man she had given food to that night. But now his hair was neat. His face was clean. His eyes were bright. He stood up slowly, a gentle smile on his face. Hello, Sophia, he said softly. Sophia's mouth fell open. She could not speak. She could not move. The man walked around the desk and stopped in front of her. My name is Gabriel, and I owe you my life. Sophia blinked. Her voice was barely a whisper. You are the man from that night? Gabriel nodded. Yes, I was that man. The one who came to the restaurant, begging for bread. The one you risked everything to help. Tears filled Sophia's eyes. But how are you here? How is this possible? Gabriel's smile faded slightly. He took a deep breath and said, Sit down, Sophia. Let me tell you my story. Sophia sat down slowly in the chair across from him. Gabriel returned to his seat and folded his hands on the desk. I was not always homeless, he began. I am the heir to this bakery empire. My father built it from nothing. When he died 2 years ago, he left everything to me. But I had a younger brother. His name was Noah. Gabriel paused, his jaw tightening. Noah was jealous. He wanted the company for himself. So he planned to get rid of me. One night, he paid some men to attack me. They beat me, took everything I had and left me on the street. They told me if I ever came back, they would kill me. Sophia gasped, her hand covering her mouth. Gabriel continued, his voice steady but filled with pain. I had no money. No phone. No one to call. I was alone, injured, and starving. For days I wandered the streets. I slept under bridges. I begged for food. People looked at me like I was nothing. Some spat at me. Others kicked me. No one helped. He looked directly into Sophia's eyes. Until you. Tears rolled down Sophia's face. That night, Gabriel said, his voice soft. When you gave me that food, you gave me more than a meal. You gave me hope. You reminded me that there are still good people in this world. People who help not because they have to, but because they choose to. Gabriel stood up and walked to the window. He looked out at the city below. After I ate that food, I found the strength to keep fighting. I contacted an old friend. Someone my brother did not know about. He helped me gather evidence of what Noah had done. We took him to court. And last week I won. The company is mine again. He turned back to face Sophia. And now I am here to repay the woman who saved my life. Sophia shook her head, her voice trembling. You don't owe me anything. I only did what was right. Gabriel smiled. That is exactly why I want to help you. Because you did not help me expecting anything in return. You helped me because of who you are. He walked back to his desk and pressed a button. The door opened, and one of the men in suits entered, carrying a folder. Gabriel took the folder and placed it in front of Sophia. Open it, he said gently. Sophia's hands shook as she opened the folder. Inside were documents. Legal papers. Property papers. Business papers. Her eyes scanned the words, but she could not understand. What is this? She asked, looking up at Gabriel. Gabriel leaned forward, his eyes warm. Sophia, I am opening a new branch of my bakery. It will be called Hope Kitchen, a place where we will sell fresh bread, pastries, and meals. But it will also be a place where we feed the poor. For free, every single day. Sophia's breath caught. Gabriel continued. And I want you to be my partner. 50% of this branch will be in your name. You will manage it. You will hire the workers. You will decide how we help people. This is not charity, Sophia. This is a business. And you deserve it. Sophia could not breathe. She stared at the papers, then at Gabriel, then back at the papers. But I don't know anything about running a business, she stammered. Gabriel smiled. You know how to be kind. You know how to work hard. You know how to treat people with respect. That is all you need. I will teach you the rest. Sophia's tears fell onto the papers. She covered her face with her hands and sobbed. Gabriel walked around the desk and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You lost your job because you chose kindness. Now kindness is giving you a future. For a long time, Sophia could not speak. She just cried. But these were not tears of pain. They were tears of joy. Tears of relief. Tears of gratitude. Finally, she looked up at Gabriel and whispered, Thank you. Thank you so much. Gabriel shook his head. No, Sophia. Thank you. Before they left the office that day, Gabriel handed Sophia an envelope. Open it when you get home, he said with a smile. That evening, Sophia sat on her bed and opened the envelope with trembling hands. Inside was a check. Her eyes widened when she saw the amount. It was enough to pay her rent for an entire year, buy food, and still have money left over. She fell to her knees and cried. God, you did not forget me. You were just preparing something bigger. The next morning, Sophia went to her landlord's house. Mr. Daniel opened the door, his face stern as always. Sophia, he said. I hope you have come to pay or to tell me you are leaving. Sophia smiled gently. She pulled out the check and handed it to him. Here is my rent for the next 12 months, sir. Mr. Daniel's eyes nearly fell out of his head. He stared at the check, then at Sophia. Where did you get this? He stammered. Sophia's smile widened. God sent me a helper, sir. A helper I did not even know I needed. Mr. Daniel stood there speechless as Sophia turned and walked away, her head held high for the first time in years. 1 week later, Sophia returned to Mama's kitchen. But this time, she did not come alone. She came with Gabriel. And she came in a black SUV, when the car stopped in front of the restaurant. Mr. Jacob was outside, talking to a supplier. He turned when he heard the car door close. His eyes widened when he saw Sophia step out. She was dressed in a clean, professional outfit. Her hair was neat. Her face was glowing. Mr. Jacob's mouth opened slightly. Sophia? He said in disbelief. Sophia walked toward him calmly. Gabriel followed behind her. Good afternoon, Mr. Jacob, Sophia said politely. Mr. Jacob's eyes shifted to Gabriel. Something about the man's presence made him nervous. Who's this? Mr. Jacob asked, his voice uncertain. Gabriel stepped forward and extended his hand. My name is Gabriel. I own Gabriel and Sons Bakery Empire. Mr. Jacob's face went pale. He had heard of that company. Everyone in Lagos had. Gabriel continued, his voice calm but firm. Sophia here is my business partner. She is also the reason I'm standing here today. A week ago, she lost her job because she chose to feed a starving man. That man was me. Mr. Jacob's eyes darted between Gabriel and Sophia. His mouth opened, but no words came out. Gabriel looked at him directly. You fired a woman for showing kindness. You called it theft. But what you did not know was that her act of kindness saved my life. And because of that, she now owns half of a company that will feed thousands of people every month. Mr. Jacob's hands began to shake. Sophia stepped forward. Her voice was soft, but her words were strong. Mr. Jacob, I did not come here to argue with you. I came to tell you something. What you did hurt me. But it also taught me that kindness is never wasted. Even when people punish you for it, God still rewards you. She paused, then added, I forgive you. Mr. Jacob stood frozen. He did not know what to say. Sophia turned and walked back to the car. Gabriel followed her. As they drove away, Sophia looked out the window one last time at the restaurant. She whispered, Goodbye. 3 months later, Hope Kitchen opened its doors. It was a large, beautiful bakery located in the heart of Lagos. The inside was bright and clean. Fresh bread filled the air with a sweet smell. Tables were arranged neatly for customers to sit and eat. But there was something special about this place. At the back of the bakery, there was a separate section. A section where the poor, the homeless, and the hungry could come and eat for free. No questions asked, no shame, just food and love. Sophia stood at the entrance on opening day, wearing a simple but elegant dress. Beside her was Gabriel, smiling proudly. A long line of people stretched down the street. Some were customers, others were people who had nothing. Sophia's eyes filled with tears as she watched them enter. She whispered, This is what my mother would have wanted. Gabriel placed a hand on her shoulder. Your mother would be proud. That evening, after the bakery closed, Sophia stood alone in the kitchen. She looked at the ovens, the bread racks, and the clean counters. She smiled and said softly, Thank you, God. You turned my pain into purpose. She walked to the window and looked out at the city lights. Somewhere out there she knew was another person like her. Someone struggling, someone hungry, someone waiting for a miracle. And she promised herself, I will never stop being kind. Because kindness changes lives. Years passed. Hope Kitchen grew into one of the most respected bakeries in Nigeria. Sophia became known not just as a businesswoman, but as a woman with a heart of gold. She never forgot where she came from. She hired people who had lost their jobs. She trained young girls who had no education. She gave second chances to those the world had rejected. Gabriel remained her partner, her friend, and her biggest supporter together. They built something bigger than a business. They built hope. In the end, this story reminds us that no act of kindness is ever wasted. Sophia lost her job because she chose to feed a hungry man, but that one choice opened the door to her destiny. Now, I would love to hear from you. What lesson did you learn from this story? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this one, please hit the like button. Share it with your friends and family. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay kind and stay humble.